In this video, I'm going to talk you through the basics of a resume. Having the appropriate amount of information on your resume is pivotal for its effectiveness. According to Standout CV, research shows that recruiters spend just a brief 6 to 8 seconds reviewing a resume or CV before determining its suitability for a vacancy. Shockingly, around 80% of resumes do not make it past this initial screening. However, it's worth noting that recruiters may spend anywhere between 8 seconds and 15 minutes reviewing a resume, emphasizing the need for concise yet impactful content. So let's start off by looking at what you need on your resume. Firstly, you need your personal information. Keep personal information and details concise and relevant, and avoid including information such as age, marital status, religion, or political affiliation, unless, of course, you've been directly asked for that kind of information. For example, instead of saying that you're married with 2 children, opt for professionally focused individual with a strong commitment to personal growth. Then irrelevant work, experience, or activities. Trim your CV by excluding experiences or activities that don't contribute directly to your application's relevance. For instance, if you're applying for a marketing role, then it's unnecessary to include your stint as a lifeguard, unless it shows somehow it ties into your marketing skills, which are probably doubtful. Also, unrelated hobbies or interests. While showcasing your personality can be advantageous, only list hobbies or interests that actually add value and are relevant to your application. For example, mentioning a passion for photography could be relevant for a graphic design position, but less so for an accounting role. Fourth, negative or controversial information. Maintain a positive tone throughout your resume by reframing from including any negative details about past experiences or employers. So avoid discussing any controversial topics or opinions that could potentially alienate employers or detract you from your professional image. And finally, CV length. Now, this is definitely a case of less is more. Keep your CV concise and to the point. While there's no strict rule on length, a 2-page CV is genuinely accepted and sufficient. This is greatly backed up by the statistics that we saw earlier, stating that a recruiter may only spend 6 to 8 seconds looking at your CV when they initially receive it. Okay, so we have covered what your CV doesn't need, but what does it need? And remember, we are talking absolute basics here. So the relevant work experience is needed. Tailor your CV to emphasize experiences directly related to the job that you're applying for. We will go into more detail later in the course about how to do this. Highlight achievements and measurable results and showcase your impact and value to potential employers. For example, quantify your achievements with statements like increased sales revenue by 25% within 6 months to provide tangible evidence of your accomplishments. Education and qualifications. Provide detailed information about your educational background, including degrees, certifications, and any relevant coursework or projects that you've done. For instance, if you completed a thesis or a project relevant to the job, mention it to demonstrate your experience in this particular area. Skills and competencies. So, showcase key skills and competencies that align with the job requirements. Include both technical proficiencies and soft skills relevant to the role. For example, if you're applying for a project management position, highlight the skills such as leadership and time management and problem solving. Okay, contact information. Make it easy for recruiters to reach you by including your name, your number, and your email address, and even your LinkedIn profile. A study by Cultivated Culture shows that having a LinkedIn profile can boost interview rates, but only 48% of resumes include a link to their LinkedIn. So make sure you maximize your chances and have your profile link there if you think it's relevant. I have talked about this in previous lectures, so use your judgment there. And we will be looking at LinkedIn and things like that a bit later in the course. So if you're a little bit confused at this point, don't worry, all will become clear. Ensure your contact details are up to date and easily accessible. I mentioned this in the previous lecture. For example, provide a professional email address, so not scooby-doo27@hotmail.com or anything like that from when you were 12. Make sure that you've got a professional sounding email address, make one if you need to, and ensure that your LinkedIn profile is complete and reflects your professional persona. Sounds silly, right? Why would anybody want to reject a resume based on an email address? Well, research from Zapier shows 35% of recruiters will reject a resume based on an unprofessional email address alone. Remember, a lot of recruiters look at the CV and only take 8 seconds to make up their mind on it. By striking the right balance, your resume will effectively communicate your qualifications and suitability for the role, setting you apart from other applicants. So these were the basics in this video. I'm going to go into a lot more depth, of course, into this course, but as a starter for 10, those are some of the basics that you need to make sure you have on your resume and what not to do as well. I'll see you in the next lecture.